consider for a moment that happiness is our natural state of being, at the center for attitudinal healing, where forgiveness is so much a part of everything that we do. We say that the essence of our being is love. We learn to look at life from the perspective that we are spiritual beings who are just temporarily in these bodies of ours. When we look upon our lives that way, we also begin to see that love and happiness are inseparable. And what forgiveness teaches us is that it is possible to choose love over fear and peace over conflict, regardless of the circumstances affecting our lives. Before we talk about forgiveness, let's briefly explore the root of happiness by looking at where unhappiness starts. We can move toward a very different way of looking at the world. A good place of beginning this exploration is with that part of us which believes that our happiness lies in external things. Living in this modern society as we do, it becomes all too easy to believe that money, the accumulation of material things, will make us happy. The trouble is that the more we accumulate, the more we want, no matter how much we get. It almost never seems like enough. Once we begin making choices from this perspective, we fall into the habit of believing that we will eventually find something outside ourselves that will bring us lasting happiness. The fact that this search frequently ends up with our feeling frustrated, angry, unhappy, and even hopeless is our clue that this belief is not working. Why is it so difficult for us to see that our search for the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow is only hiding the fact that we are both the rainbow and the gold? There are so many temptations in the world on which to blame our unhappiness or our lack of money and material things. We look around us and see people with more than we have who seem to be happier than we are. We turn to other people and seek to fill the hole in our souls with our relationship. It may seem like a big jump we are making from seeing more material things as the answer to seeing other people as the answer. But the same part of us which tells us that the answers are to be found in externals also tells us that we should be able to make other people responsible for our happiness. Surely, if we could only find the right person, our lives would be fulfilled. Pretty soon, we are on a philosophical treadmill, going round and round in an endless circle. disappointed, and unhappy because neither money and material things nor our relationship are making us happy. We have movement, but they seem too fleeting. We may begin to feel trapped by life, but what we may ask is the alternative. What is this part of ourselves that keeps us seeking outside ourselves? Can we even name it? It is the part of us which believes that our true identity is limited to our bodies and personality self. It is the part of us which sneers at any suggestion that our true essence is that we are spiritual beings living for a time in this body. I like to use the term ego to describe the part of us that is so concerned with externals. The ego tries to justify its presence in our lives by saying that it is only looking after our better interests, that our bodies need it to seek around, or we are going to accidentally step out in front of a speeding truck, or forget to feed ourselves or protect ourselves from all the dangers that are in the world. Our egos would have us believe that anyone who does not think that money can buy happiness does not know where to shop. Again and again, our ego sends us the message that we live in an unfair world. We will be victims if we are not constantly on the alert. Our egos are quite happy when we become convinced of our victimhood, because then we hand our power over to them. The last thing our egos would want us to believe is that we have a choice, that we can choose not to be victims, that we can, in fact, choose love rather than fear, that we can choose to forgive rather than hold on to our embitterments, grudges, and judgments. It is easy to see how the ego interprets happiness, love, and peace of mind as its enemies, for when we are enjoying these states of beings, we are experiencing our spiritual essence. We are seeing a world that is very different from the one our egos furnish us. Forgiveness is easy when we look at the world through the eyes of love, since it is then clear that the answers we have been seeking all of our lives can be found here, and not in the ego's beliefs in the external of life. At its worst, we hear the ego is our minds saying that it is impossible to experience happiness for long, so we had better be able to turn to the physical reality for our true and lasting happiness. Eventually, things will fall apart. Something is sure to go wrong. Someone or some things will intrude on our happiness. We would better be on the lookout for the person who is to blame. The ego's advice is to become a fault finder, to make certain we are always right and the other person is always wrong. Ultimately, our happiness and unhappiness actually is measured by the degree to which we accept the advice of our egos. Think about that happens whenever we judge other people, hold grievances in our mind, or cling to blame and guilt. What we feel at such time blocks us from experiencing love, peace, and happiness. Our feelings of unhappiness are magnified and we become fault finders, probing our world for circumstances or people who might be to blame for our unhappiness. Forgiveness is a transformational process in a heartbeat. We can't let go of the externally based paradigm that say we must look outside ourselves for true happiness. With a simple change of mind, we can release ourselves from the ego's conviction that to be safe we must believe in our victimhood and act defensively. With a shift of perspective, we can stop seeking other people or things outside ourselves to blame for our unhappiness. We can embrace our true spiritual essence and instantly find that this has always been our source of love and peace and happiness. It is never more than a heartbeat away and it is free for the asking. Forgiveness can be learned at any age and by anyone, regardless of their present beliefs systems, the past they have experienced, or the way they have treated others around them. This is the root of unhappiness.